Hello and welcome back to the Story Shed. I have another story for you from Grandma's Magical Storybook. Now, we've had a couple so far, and I hope that you've enjoyed them. The one that I have for you now is called Harry's Gran the Pirate. Harry loved playing pirates. He'd dress up in pirate's clothes and get his Gran to chase him around and round the garden while he shouted, "Shiver my timbers!" at the top of his voice. Gran loved playing with Harry, but she couldn't help feeling just the teeniest bit embarrassed when people saw her pretending to be a pirate. After all, it just wasn't the kind of things that Grans normally did. Gran and Harry were playing pirates one day when the owner of Sandy Bay Water Park walked by. Harry and Gran turned bright red with embarrassment. They were sure that he was going to laugh at Gran for pretending to be a pirate, but they were wrong. "Goodness me, you're a very good pirate," said the owner of Sandy Bay Water Park, and he asked Gran if she would become a full-time pirate on the pretend pirate ship in the water park. "Oh, I'm not sure," started Gran, but when she saw how excited Harry was, she quickly agreed. From then on, she dressed up as a pirate every day and went to Sandy Bay Water Park to entertain children on the pirate ship. Sometimes Harry went with her to help. At first, Gran was still a bit embarrassed when she had to climb up the mast and shout, roll up, come and visit the best pirate ship ever." But after a few days, she began to enjoy herself. Children poured up to the lake to see the pirate ship. They laughed at Harry's Gran when she swished her sword through the air. They laughed when she strode around the ship's deck roaring, "Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum." Harry thought it was great, the way his Gran made everyone laugh, and he laughed louder than anyone else. But they all stopped laughing when some big boys from Sandy Bay unfastened the ropes tying the ship to the harbour wall, and the pretend pirate ship sailed out into the lake, taking Gran, Harry, and all the children with it. "Stop! Stop!" cried the mums and dads from the side of the lake. "Help! Help!" shouted the children. "Go on, Gran," said Harry. "Take the ship back to the harbour." "But I don't know how," whispered Gran. "Oh, Gran," said Harry, "you must do something." Of course, Gran wasn't really a pirate, and she didn't really know how to sail a pirate ship. So she handed out life jackets instead. Poor Gran. Poor Harry. Poor children. They all ran round and round the deck, pulling this rope and tugging that rope, but none of them knew how to turn the ship around or how to sail it back to the harbour. And so the ship carried on sailing, on and on. After a while, Gran was so puffed out from all the running that she paused to catch her breath. She looked over the ship's side. The waves were very small, the lake was very blue, the sun was shining, and there was hardly a cloud in the sky. She decided, it's quite a nice day for a sail. The children looked over the rail of the ship. "It is a nice day for a sail," they quickly agreed. "Jib booms and bobstays," cried Gran. "Let's have a party." All the children thought it was a brilliant idea. "We'll have a picnic," said Gran. From the ship's kitchen she fetched one giant bag full of jam tarts and another bulging with sausage rolls. Gran made a big pot of tea. Harry made sandwiches with ham, cheese and tomatoes. One of the children wanted to have hard-boiled eggs from the ship's storeroom, but Gran said the eggs had been on board so long they were bound to be bad, so they put them back, taking care not to break them because bad eggs make a dreadful, dreadful smell. When the tea was made and everything else was ready, they all sat cross-legged on deck and had a feast. It was such a good one, and everybody enjoyed themselves so much that no one except Harry noticed the little ship was sailing into the bay of a sandy island. Gran, said Harry, we've reached land. Land ahoy, cried Gran, scrambling to her feet. There's a sandy beach, shouted the excited children. There'll be pirates' treasures, me hearties, roared Gran. Excuse me, but there's another pirate ship over there, said one of the children. And there was. Anchored in the very same bay was another pirate ship, teeming with big boys dressed as pirates. It's the boys from Sandy Bay Sailing Club, said Gran, and they're all dressed as pirates. Yippee, shouted the children. We can have a real pirate fight. They're hoisting the Jolly Roger, laughed Gran, as a skull and crossbones flag rose to the top of the other pirate ship's mast. Prepare for battle, cried the biggest boy from the other pirate ship, who you could tell was the captain, because he wore a captain's hat just like Gran's. They're going to attack us, laughed the little girl. The next moment, a bunch of slimy seaweed landed on the deck beside Harry's Gran. Hooray! They're firing at us, shouted Harry. Let's fire back, said one of the children. If we don't do something fast, we're going to be covered in seaweed, and then we'll all stink. Stink, cried Gran. That's it. We'll make a stink. Children, fetch all the bad eggs from the ship's storeroom. When all the eggs had been gently laid on the deck, Gran picked up the biggest and flung it at the big boy's pirate ship. It exploded on the deck in a splash of yellow yolk. Bullseye! Take that, you sea dogs, cried Gran. Pooh! One of the big boys cried out. Phew! What a stink! Yelled another. Phew! Throwing bad eggs isn't fair, shouted the boy captain. With their hankies over their mouths, all the children were soon throwing eggs onto the other pirate ship. The smell became so bad that all of the boy pirates threw down their seaweed so they could cover their noses. We give up! We give up! Spluttered the boy captain, who was gripping his nose so tightly that he sounded as if he had a bad cold. Please, let us come on board so that we can get away from this dreadful, dreadful pong. Gran allowed all the big boys to climb on board. Then she asked everyone what they should do with them. We could hang them all from the top of the mast, suggested one little boy in a quiet voice. Oh, no, they're far too heavy, laughed Gran. We could throw them to the sharks, suggested a little girl. There are no sharks around here, laughed the boys. What should we do then? Asked Gran. Harry stood on tiptoe to whisper in her ear. Well, I don't know, she said, peering down at him. Go on, Gran, begged Harry. Oh, all right, she finally agreed. She turned to the biggest boy. Would you mind walking the gangplank? She asked. After all, that's a real pirate punishment. The boy pirates thought it sounded like an excellent idea. So they blindfolded the boy captain and were about to make him walk the gangplank. Don't make me jump, giggled the boy captain, who really thought it would be brilliant fun to jump into the lake. Oh, all right, said Gran, who didn't really think that making someone jump into the lake was a very nice thing to do. But you must do something. After all, if I were a real pirate, I'd make sure you were punished. Oh, please make me jump in, cried the boy captain. But Gran wouldn't agree. Suddenly, Harry had another bright idea. He whispered in Gran's ear. What a great idea, cried Gran. She turned to the boy captain. You can teach me how to sail. Then I can take the children back to the water park. Of course, the boy captain, who was really the captain of Sandy Bay Sailing Club, quickly agreed. After all, if there was one thing he loved better than pretending to be a pirate, it was teaching people to sail. Harry's Gran was such a good pirate that she learned to sail in not much longer than it takes a pirate to flick his pigtail. Thank you, she shouted to the big boys as she steered out of the bay. A tremendous panic had been going on at Sandy Bay Water Park ever since the pretend pirate ship had sailed away. And as Gran sailed into the harbour, a huge crowd, including the park's owner, was waiting. As the owner frowned at Gran and looked as if he was going to say something cross, The children all looked at each other and began to cheer. 3 cheers for good old Harry's Gran, they cried. 3 cheers for the best and bravest pirate ever to sail the 7 seas. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Good old Gran, shouted the owner of Sandy Bay Water Park. Thank you for looking after our children, shouted the mums and dads. Harry was ever so proud of his Gran. Shiver my timbers, he declared. You're the best Gran in the world. And you're the best grandson a pirate could wish for, smiled Gran. And that's the end of the story of Harry's Gran the pirate. Perhaps you could write a story about being a pirate or going to an island or pirate treasure, and you can send it to us here at the storyshed@gmail.com. That's the storyshed@gmail.com. Maybe you could draw a map of a treasure island and send it to us. But in the meantime, take care, be well, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.